Will you be getting a second stimulus check before Christmas this year? That's the question I'm going to answer in this video, so make sure you watch until the very end. Now, before we get into the stimulus news in this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button below and turn the bell notification icon on so you don't miss any of my update videos on the second stimulus check and the stimulus package. Now, with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's news. At the end of the year, this year, a number of critical COVID-19 economic relief programs are going to expire. That includes the eviction moratorium, ban on evictions and foreclosures, the forbearance of student loan payments, and of course, the unemployment benefits. Winter is coming and COVID-19 is spiking around the country. Many states like Michigan, California, and many cities like Chicago are going back into lockdown to try to contain the virus. Congress is under increasing pressure to pass another round of stimulus checks and stimulus package. Now, if you watched my last video, you know that last week the Democrats invited Mitch McConnell, Senate Majority Leader and Republican stimulus negotiator, back to the negotiating table to try to work out a bipartisan stimulus deal. Last Thursday evening, Senator Schumer held a press conference in which he said that Mitch McConnell had in fact accepted his offer to come back to the negotiating table and work out a stimulus deal.
If the Democrats and Republicans in the House and Senate come together, we can get this done. That's what we're trying to do. For the first time, we're having some productive conversations in a while because Leader McConnell has now said he would sit down and talk.
But other sources have said that that meeting never actually took place. McConnell's office was contacted by various members of the press, and they neither confirmed nor denied that such a meeting took place. During an interview on CNBC the following day, November 20th, Steve Mnuchin, Secretary of Treasury, said that he planned to draft a targeted stimulus package with the Democrats in the coming weeks.
And Mark Meadows and I will be working with Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy and hopefully the Speaker. There's $500 billion of money that Congress appropriated that is now expiring. We have $130 billion of PPP money sitting around. We need Congress to reappropriate these funds. We could do $500 billion of fiscal response immediately that won't cost taxpayers any more money, and let's spend it on small business PPP loans. You know, there are a lot of people who are still struggling, although parts of the economy are roaring back. Parts of the economy, small businesses, restaurants, travel, and other need more help. And that's where we want to put this money. But this was a very simple thing. We're following the intent of Congress.
That same morning, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House and Democrat stimulus negotiator, held her weekly press conference. Pelosi said that she was optimistic about the chances of getting a bipartisan stimulus bill passed.
But I'm optimistic that we will have bipartisanship to put something together to go forward, because I do believe that many of our colleagues understand what's happening in their districts and to want to make a difference.
Pelosi was then asked whether she had a timeline for passing a bipartisan stimulus package, and here is what she had to say.
There's just one big obstacle in the way. In the Senate, it's Mitch McConnell, but the other obstacle, because he does what President Trump says, and that's President Trump.
When asked whether Democrats had met with Mitch McConnell to discuss a stimulus deal, Pelosi seemed to contradict Schumer's statements about McConnell agreeing to meet.
As far as those negotiations go right now, who are these active negotiations going on with? Is it House Democrats and Leader McConnell? Is the White House involved? When's the last time you spoke with Treasury Secretary?
When asked whether she has any plans to meet with McConnell or Mnuchin to discuss another stimulus deal, here's what Pelosi had to say.
Well, he said in his comments that they would be reaching out, but we're asking him to come back to us. We've been sitting at the table for 6 months plus a week, waiting for them to come back. The obstacles have been they do not want to honor our heroes, and in fact, many of those workers are laid off. They have risked their lives to save lives, and now they must lose their jobs. Many, over 1 million of them have. The other part of that is that the fiscal soundness of our state and local governments is important to the fiscal soundness of our country. We have to get something done. And again, they have been resistant on many of the things that we consider priorities. But everybody knows people are hungry. People are fearing eviction. People need the CARES Act provisions to be extended that address unemployment insurance and the rest. I won't go into how they comment on all of that. But this is the most mystifying to me and the most unscientific. They will not decide to crush the virus.
Now, later that day, President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris met with Pelosi and Schumer to discuss the next stimulus package. Pelosi summarized their talk in a Dear Colleague letter the following day. According to the letter, they all agreed that, quote, Congress needs to pass a bipartisan emergency aid package in the lame duck session, and that package should include resources to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, relief for working families and small businesses, support for state and local governments trying to keep frontline workers on the payroll, expanded unemployment insurance, and affordable health care for millions of families. Biden discussed his agenda for the first 100 days in office with the Democratic leaders during their meeting. During his first 100 days, Biden said he will, quote, take aggressive action to contain COVID-19, providing resources to small businesses, families, schools, and state and local governments to power our economic recovery, and investing in the middle class to build back better, end quote. Meanwhile, on the House floor, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez blasted McConnell for granting a Thanksgiving recess to the Senate without a stimulus deal for Americans.
And just a day or two ago, the Senate Majority Leader, Senator McConnell, decided to break the Senate. And he broke the Senate as there are thousands of people in Texas lined up for food lines. He broke the Senate while hospitals no longer have beds to house the sick. He broke the Senate and dismissed the Senate while 30 million Americans are on the brink of eviction. He dismissed the Senate when every single day, when we go back to our communities, people are asking us, where is there going to be help? Is there going to be a second stimulus check? Are we going to get the resources that we need? He broke the Senate. Thanksgiving is around the corner, and there are millions of Americans that won't be able to afford a meal to eat, that don't know if they'll be kicked out of their home, that are unsure if they're going to have to quit their job to care for their child. And the Senate prides itself as one of the most deliberative bodies. They abandoned them. We cannot afford to wait for a new administration or another election or a political state of play. We need to get people help now, and the Senate broke. They broke. Our country is going hungry on the week before Thanksgiving, and the Senate broke. I was surprised to hear so many Republicans now concerned about how we're going to pay for it or using other people's money. But the Senate Majority Leader wasn't concerned about other people's money when he authorized a $4 trillion leveraged bailout for Wall Street in March. He wasn't concerned about where that money came from. He wasn't concerned about how we were going to pay for that. It is only when we are talking about relief for working people, for children, for families, for parents, for education, for health care, that all of a sudden we can't pay for any of these things. But when it comes to tax subsidies for private jets, we've got the money for that. But we don't have money to feed our own kids. We don't have money to educate people. We don't have money to provide health care. So we are living in a world and a state of play in our governance where the party who is eager to help subsidize private jets somehow can't find the dollars and the cents to get people a $1,200 check. It's unconscionable, and it's wrong, and the Senate broke. And so I'm just rising today because it's extraordinarily difficult to represent a working class district, not a private jet district. And to go home every week, just as I'm about to do again, and feel as helpless in this body because the majority of its members and the majority of the Senate can't seem to want to get it together and get people the help that we need, and the Senate broke. So this is what I have to do. This is what we are resorting to. Speaking to an empty room because the Senate broke. So if there's anything that I have left to say, is that I want to know if there's anybody out there that's listening, is that if you are a working family, if you're struggling to get the food that you need, if you feel like you are on the brink of eviction, we see you. We see you. And what I ask for the Senate, and what I ask of our Republican colleagues in the Senate, is to act as if you were the one that was going hungry. Act as if it is you getting evicted from your house. Act with that urgency.
On Sunday, November 22nd, the New York Times reported that Biden and his team are considering signing executive orders on his first day in office extending the eviction moratorium and foreclosure moratorium and deferrals on some student loan payments that are set to expire at the end of the year. So the question presented in this video is, will you be receiving a second stimulus check by Christmas? Well, Pelosi and the Democrats have refused to back down from their all-or-nothing approach and their demand for $2.2 trillion. McConnell has called the Democrats' various stimulus proposals a, quote, multi-trillion-dollar laughingstock, dead on arrival, and a liberal wish list. McConnell has expressed no urgency for getting another stimulus package passed and is only open to skinny stimulus packages of around $500 billion up to maybe $1 trillion. Pelosi seems to think that once Biden is sworn in as president, she will get everything she is demanding. That's wishful thinking as long as McConnell is Senate leader. We've seen no signs that either side is willing to budge anytime soon. Unfortunately, this means we're not likely to see another stimulus package passed in the coming weeks, which means the chances of receiving a second stimulus check by Christmas are very low. That said, a lot hinges on the Senate runoff races in Georgia. If the Democrats take the Senate, a robust package with stimulus checks, unemployment, and all the aid the Democrats have been insisting on will be much easier to pass in Congress. Until then, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification icon so that you don't miss any breaking stimulus updates. And that's all I've got for you today. If you like this video, let me know by hitting the like button. And as always, thank you for watching.